All right, we're talking about my favorite subject in the whole world, kickboxing. And when you say kickboxing, there's only one name synonymous, the best in kickboxing, Glory. We saw Glory come to Spike TV. This is my really good friend, Alan Belcher. So how do you feel about having kickboxing on mainstream television here in America? I know you're
I
a
think it's
striking
awesome.
aficionado. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, for years we've been talking about K1, like it's died out, and what's going on, and some people are trying to make some comebacks with some other shows and doing little things, and every once in a while there's something pop up in Japan, but now it's back and it's strong. There's some old names. Can't believe those guys are still fighting, and a lot of new guys. I mean, the level is just when people are straight up kickboxers. I know that some of the guys cross over in MMA a little bit too, but it's just a different level when someone can just work on their hands and their kicks nonstop year round. It's a totally different level, and it's really fun to watch. And
for sure. I think we have some great strikers over in the MMA pool, but me as a former kickboxer, the evolution of the fighters I saw on Spike TV, the guys are so good with their hands, especially at Glory 11 in Chicago, the first Spike broadcast. Bazooka Joe from Canada showed some great skills. He went out against Kareem Gaji and fought a great fight. But when we're talking about hands, there was a great rematch between Tyrone Spong and Nathan Corbett. But Tyrone Spong, he's moved here to America. He's training out of the Black Zillions. But the key element for him, he's hooked up with Miguel Cotto's favorite former coach, Pedro Diaz, and I think that's just paid off. I mean, his hands just look so crispy in his fights, and he's hitting big, and he's got some power shots.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, Spong is yeah, he's ridiculous. It's so fast, that overhand right, and just the hands, the knockout power, well-rounded, super athlete. The kind of person that you would see play in some kind of, be a professional football player or a sprinter or a pro boxer even.
Well, he said he wants to be the Bo Jackson of combat sports. He wants to box. He wants to do MMA. He wants to kickbox. Me, I want to be greedy. I want Tyrone only to do kickboxing. I want him to be the Michael Jordan, the Muhammad Ali, the iconic figure. I believe that Tyrone can be the face that will take Glory to the next level. So Tyrone, stay with us, stay kickboxing. I know you got your boy Rashad and all you good great guys. Stay here with us. We want you home. You're one of the baddest kickboxers on the planet, and keep showing us your skills. That being said, there was a huge upset. I called it in the broadcast with my great friend Mauro Ranellos and Ron Kruk. It wasn't Rico Verhoeven. It was Rico Balboa Verhoeven. He was the Rocky story. He was not the favorite to come into this tournament. He's trained by the great Dennis Carroll from the Super Pro Gym, who produced the great Albert Kraus back in the day in K1 Max. He came in, he cleaned up the tournament. He beat a very, very highly touted and the guy everyone thought was going to dominate the tournament, Gokhan Saki. He came in there, used his size, and then he beat Gita. Incredible first tournament. Now, moving on, then there's Glory 12. The significance of Glory 12, two things. We were at the Madison Square Garden Theater there, where there's stars galore from a lot of different shows. Definitely that New York feel, and really the home of fighting. But you know who showed up? You know who did? Money Mayweather. He's supporting our sport. What do you think the significance of having Mayweather there is?
Well, I mean, it shows it's great publicity for the sport. I know. Wasn't there some kind of type of, not controversy, but a rumor going around that Floyd had something to do with the promotion or something like that, like he's a silent partner, that everybody was screaming about that. It was kind of interesting a little bit.
No, I mean, it's great having Floyd there. I mean, and he's a connoisseur of the sport. I mean, when one athlete comes over from one discipline and to watch it, did you definitely have a respect for it? Another great tournament, another great fight was Ben Edwards. He came from behind with a huge overhand right, knocked out Ben Sadiq who trains in Holland, and the Aussie Oi came in there with the big Aussie bomb, dropped him. He made the big tree go timber. It really was in biblical proportions, David versus Goliath, more like Ben versus Goliath. great knockout. Another emerging star in Glory 12 was Wayne Barrett. He came in against a very tough Joe Schilling, who had won the big middleweight tournament by upset at Glory 10. But Wayne Barrett came in, won a seesaw battle of fights. They both put each other on the canvas, and Wayne, being based out of New York, what a Cinderella story to pull off the upset. That being said, the kind of neat thing about Wayne Barrett, Schilling having a lot of the kickboxing fights, Wayne Barrett's as well trained with a lot of MMA fighters. We are seeing some MMA guys who do have the ability to cross over back into kickboxing, right?
Yeah, and that's really good. It's really good for those guys to promote themselves and to be able to develop those skills even further. Now, what about next is Glory 13?
We did Glory 13 in Japan, but right now also
next is okay.
Yeah, that Andy Risti was our huge upset too. Upset's been the word on Spike this year, even from Glory 10 on. Andy Risti beat the Mayweather of kickboxing. He beat Giorgio Petrosian. Not only did he beat him, he knocked him out. Then he took on the Ramon Decker, or the Mike Tyson, if you will, of the lightweight division in Glory. He also knocked out Roman von Rossmollen. So he beat the two best guys in the world, knocked them out with the same punch in the same night. So what a again, Cinderella story to close New York. Then Glory 13, we went to the spiritual home of Marshall.
Like over there in Japan, what was that like?
Well, I got to tell you, when I first started going to Japan, Alan, you could hear your feet on the canvas, but it was loud for Japan. Japan, the culture there is they stay quiet to respect the athletes. They clap at the end of the round, but the energy of the taiko drums at the beginning of the show, and just you could feel the respect and the admiration for these athletes. Especially they knew that it was Peter Art's final fight in Japan, Remy Bonjasky's final fight in Japan. Incredible. That being said, the energy pushed Nicky the Natural Holtzkin. He unfortunately, we had our Cinderella story with Bazooka Joe, who came out of nowhere and has been succeeding, but he broke Cinderella's slipper in that fight, and caught him with an incredible left hook. What do you think of the skill set of Holtzkin? Do you think he's, between him and Spung, who is the best puncher in Glory?
I mean, they both have the knockout power. They both, I mean, as far as punching, I mean, they're really similar to me. They both have the big hook. They both have the speed, explosiveness, the overhand right. But I mean, we can't really compare the punching. I just think as an overall fighter, Spong is probably more well-rounded with his kickboxing.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to. It's tough. It's a pick between the two. I mean, they breed them tough in Holland. Gone Dutch, as I'd say, is they're tough there. Now, there's a historic match that closed the show. My really good friend, the face of kickboxing, really, the king of kickboxing, took on the prince, who is Rico Van Hooven, the king being Peter Arts. I'm just blown away by Peter Arts, the amount of fights he had. I'm 43. He just turned 43. I bow down to my man Peter. He went in there with the current tournament heavyweight champion and was able to go toe-to-toe with him. It was a back-and-forth fight. Now, you've been around this game for a while now. I've seen you grow up as a youngster. You love kickboxing. What is it like to see a guy like Peter Arts still at it in this game?
I mean, it's amazing. The guys that I basically grew up watching, or what I knew about kickboxing, Peter Arts, probably Jerome LeBanner about the same time, maybe. I mean, Peter Arts probably goes back further.
Yeah.
Right? Later was Remy Bonjasky. I can't believe these guys are still fighting, first off, but to see them still competing and be able to compete at a high level is pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're down deep. The athlete in me is envious of them, but as a fan and of course a friend, I'm in admiration of these guys. Now, speaking of guys who've been around, I mean, our next broadcast is on Spike TV. We're going to be going at it March 8th. Don't miss it on Spike TV. Incredibly, the ratings jumped 38% from when we started to the last Glory. So we've been kicking butt and taking names on Spike TV. Kickboxing is here to stay. It's awesome. Now, Glory 14. You want the blast from the past, but they're still kicking butt today. We got Cro Cop in Zagreb, in his home country, hometown, doing his community service. He's going to take on Remy Bonjasky. What do you think of that?
Awesome. I hope Cro Cop can close out his career and have a good showing in kickboxing, and because the last few years in his MMA career was not real pretty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'd like to see, for his sake and for the fans' sake too, that he can close it out. Not that I'm going against Bonjasky, but you know, I'd like to see him win.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. I fought on the same show in Japan in 2006 on the K1 semifinals with Mirko. And I've known him a long time. He's a great fighter, great guy. I feel the same way. It's really hard when I do the broadcasting because it's a small circle of fighters in the kickboxing world. We're very respectful. There's a lot of admiration amongst the warriors, and they're cool guys, you know. It's hard to pick who I want to win, but, you know, the good thing is it's going to be entertaining. You can count on incredible fights, incredible action. I mean, the beauty of it, they're only 9-minute fights. It's 3-3-minute rounds, kicking, punching, kneeing, nonstop action, everyone trying to close the show. Kickboxing, you know, if you love MMA, if you love boxing, you're going to love kickboxing. If you want more information on Glory, go to gloryworldseries.com. If you want more information on what UFC fighter Alan Belcher is doing, go to prommatraining.com. And then if you want to tune in the wild world of Duke Roufus and what I got going on, you want to train online with Alan or I, go to Alan's site, my site, dukeroufus.com. You see it, guys. Glory's what it's all about. We got the gear. If you love kickboxing, if you love Muay Thai as well, there's a lot of really good Muay Thai fighters moving over into Glory. This year I saw guys receive checks for $250,000, $200,000, $100,000, $150,000. Glory's doing a great way of making kickboxing a real lucrative and professional sport for the athletes. I mean, if you love martial arts, you're going to love Glory.
I'd like to see Glory grow like the UFC has over the last 5 to 10 years and grow new fans of kickboxing, because the old fans that have been liking kickboxing, they're re-energized. But now with this big craze and the UFC, you know, the UFC working together in a way, promotional-wise, you know, or just fan-wise, some of the UFC fans coming over and watching Glory, kind of ride on that a little bit and bring new fans into kickboxing. Could be bigger than ever, right? For sure.
I really believe combat sports as a whole has grown exponentially. Now we see the Metamoris Jiu-Jitsu, professional Jiu-Jitsu, because of the success of UFC. We've seen Aegon Wrestling with the Askren brothers going there. Now we're seeing Glory coming to the mix. And then, again, boxing had to up their game. This was probably the best year in boxing, especially Showtime Boxing talks about the success they had this year. And again, at the same time, though, the UFC's putting on even more events this year. Everybody's growing. It's a positive time in combat sports. That's, I think, the synergy amongst all the sports. I think a lot of people are really getting into combat sports because you get to reach into a personality. There's fans who love Alan Belcher. There's fans who hate Alan Belcher. Bottom line, the fans are watching. Same with Floyd Mayweather. People love him, hate him. Don't matter. They're watching. Again, we want to thank your support for supporting Glory. This is Alan Belcher, UFC fighter and martial arts extraordinaire. Myself, Duke Roufus, humble broadcaster on Spike TV. Thanks for supporting us, and we'll see you soon.